Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Get Ahead Challenge. 5 days to change your money situation and set yourself up for financial success. Today is your final lesson, and it's all about how to stay consistent long term. Now, let me ask you this. What good are positive actions if they aren't consistent? So what good will going to the gym every day for a month do if for the following 3 months you don't go? Good question, huh? Building positive financial habits is a lifelong effort, and consistency is key to forming those habits. Once those habits stick with you, they're ingrained in your routine, you're golden. But until that happens, you gotta be consistent. Now, on average, it takes 2 months of consistency for a behavior to become automatic. And there are daily activities that you can do to help you form positive financial habits that eventually become routine. Those things include tracking your spending every day, checking in on your accounts every day, and revisiting your financial goals so the why behind your goals is always front and center. Now, let me ask you this. How do you feel about money? Does money make you happy, sad? Are you negative or positive towards money? Really think about how you feel about money. And once you think about it, I want you to make a conscious effort to get rid of any and every negative thought you have about your money and your situation, because it can help you move forward. So I no longer want you to consider yourself a broke girl. You are now a girl with a budget, working on her spending. Change those negative thoughts into positive ones so you can really start getting the right mindset. I want you to think minimum over maximum, meaning keeping your expenses and spending minimum and keeping your income maximum. I want you to picture money just coming into your bank account. Picture your bank account with thousands and thousands of dollars. Picture the life you want. Picture money coming your way and it not just immediately going out. Money sits in your bank account, so picture that. And then I want you to respect the money you do have. No more will you be giving money away for things you don't really want or need. You're going to respect the money you do have, so every purchase you make is intentional. Now let's get your financial life in order so you can make things so much smoother for yourself. Set up automatic bill pay. So you should have automatic savings transfers set up. It's time to get those bills on automatic bill pay. I never want anything to slip through the cracks for you, which could result in late fees. So set automatic bill pay up so you can set it and forget it. Next, I want you to get all of your financial documents in one place. I don't want you to have to scramble come tax time, stress yourself out trying to find documents when you can always have them in one place, go to every time so you know where you have what you need. I also want you to ensure your budget is livable. We talked about this in past lessons, but you want to make sure your budget is realistic. You want to give yourself discretionary spending limits that you can follow and that ensure you can succeed. And lastly, I want you to have one resource for all of your accounts and information. So you may have multiple accounts at multiple banks. That's perfectly fine. But create an Excel spreadsheet that has every account, where it's at, and what money amount is in the account. That way, you always have one go-to so nothing can slip through the cracks. Now, I've touched on tracking your spending, but I want to explain why it's so important. You know that a budget is great, but it is not the extent of your financial responsibilities. You have to take it a step further and track your spending to ensure you're actually following the budget you created. So here's why tracking your spending is so important. Tracking gives you clarity to your spending habits. You will be able to see exactly where your money goes and make changes accordingly. Tracking helps you stay on budget. If you track your spending every day, you are able to see how close you are to hitting your spending limit in any category so that you can stay on budget. So for example, let's say you give yourself $100 a month to shop. And let's say it's day 15 of the month and you're already at $75. Well, you still got half a month left, but only $25 to spend. Tracking your spending will help ensure you stay within the limits you set. Now, tracking also helps you catch questionable charges. So since you're checking in on your bank activity, you're able to see anything that doesn't belong and get it remedied as quickly as possible. And then tracking shows your progress. It shows if you are controlling your spending. It shows if you are underspending month over month so that you can save more. It's very, very, very eye-opening, and it's very helpful. Now, there are plenty of ways you can track your spending, so you want to find what works for you. Here are some ideas on how you can go about tracking your spending. You can use an app like Mint or Clarity Money. Create an Excel spreadsheet, which is what I do, and I love it. You can use a software like QuickBooks. Or you can take it old school and write it in a notebook. Doesn't matter how you track, find what works for you, just start doing. Now, before you can tackle your personal goals, certain money moves must be made first. So certain basics must be taken care of before you can focus on the goals you want to achieve. So before you focus on the things you want most out of life, make sure your basics are covered. You want to prepare for setbacks with an emergency fund. So start by saving $1,000 for small emergencies first. Once you have your $1,000 saved, then you can focus on aggressively paying down debt. If you don't have debt, your next goal should be to save 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. Now, if you do have any high interest debt, again, you want to make sure your $1,000 is saved just for emergencies, and then focus your efforts on paying down any of that crazy high interest debt like credit cards. Another goal to be able to have 1 month's worth of bills in your account. That way you're always a month ahead. If something comes up, you know you're good and you can always work to have that amount in your account. Now, make life a little easier for yourself. Make it easier for you to achieve your goals. We talked about this before, but again, I want to remind you to get rid of any temptation that causes you to spend money. If you don't need it, you shouldn't buy it. If it's not in budget, you should avoid it. Also, start identifying things that encourage you to spend and think through alternatives. So if you tend to hit the mall when you're super happy or super sad, what alternatives can you do to avoid hitting the mall and breaking your budget? When you can identify what triggers you to spend, you can start thinking through other things that will make you feel better instead of spending money, which ultimately makes you feel worse in the long run. Put your credit cards in the freezer, cut them up. I don't care what you do, just don't use them. And then keep your budget with you always. So if your budget is written out in a notebook, take a picture of it. That way you have it on your phone, it goes wherever you go. You can also print it out, print a mini version, keep it in your wallet so it's always handy. You just want to make sure it's always there so you always remember to keep your spending in line with the budget you created. Now, financial growth is a never-ending journey. It doesn't stop regardless of how much money you make. And I challenge you to always seek to sharpen and perfect your money management skills. You taking this Get Ahead Challenge is just the first step of something great. There is a lot of knowledge and information out there for you. You can grow financially. You will grow financially if you stay consistent and if you keep sharpening those tools. All right, ladies, it's time for you to take some action. I want you to set reminders for those daily habits we talked about. I want you to get your financial life organized and in order. I want you to start tracking your spending today. And I want you to focus on the priorities first. Make sure your emergency fund is in order. Make sure your debt is out the door. Then focus on the goals you want to achieve. All right, that wraps us up for today. I will see you guys at the Q&A session, and have a good one.